I really liked how we used a different classroom, so we used that yoga room, which got the children engaged, it got them moving, and it got them really thinking. I think that was definitely one of the strengths of it. The activity that you brought back into the classroom was excellent. We obviously had some issues with the technology, which you overcame, and that's going to happen in lessons. Things are going to go wrong, and it's about how we adapt to it. And it's often, it's hard when you're right at the beginning of the career, because you necessarily don't have those things to fall back on, whereas you just kind of quick-minded. Yeah, it made it a bit trickier because you have to show them on the piece of paper what you wanted them to do, which we talked about in the previous one about getting it on the board to make it easier to show them, so you had it all lined up. And I really liked the fact that you kept asking them to stop when things went wrong, when they weren't understanding it particularly, just got them all back together to go through it again. I think so they're the real key strengths, and I think what we need to work on is just a bit of that kind of behaviour management, and when you're giving instructions, just making sure that there's as little disruption as you can, so that they all get the best understanding that they can of the task. I like the fact that you weren't afraid to call people out or move people when they were misbehaving in class, so that you had that right from the start, whereas I've seen some teachers that kind of shy away from it at the start, and then it just snowballs and gets worse and worse, but you stamped it out straight away. I think another thing that we potentially talk about is the vocabulary, that it's a key skill, is their vocabulary, and what I think we need to just do is a little bit more, is just get their understanding of vocabulary before you give it out. Just say, has anyone heard of the x-axis? Has anyone heard of those things? So where the starting block is, because what you don't want to do is go through it and then they actually go, we already know this already, because then you've wasted 5-10 minutes of a lesson. That was just something to work on, and again, it's just making sure within your lesson plan, it's just making sure that everything's on there. For example, the extension wasn't on the lesson plan. So it's just making, again, so that everyone in the room, so your learning assistant or other people, are just aware of what they want to do. So for example, if someone came up to the learning assistant and said, what do I need to do next? They'd all be absolutely okay, right, this is what I want you to do. And I really liked the plenary at the end, actually, with the things that you've done wrong, and getting them to go through it and explain it, and that really increases their understanding and development of maths, is to be able to explain what has gone wrong, not just why things are correct. A great lesson. So I think it's really important that we build on all these things, and moving forward with this area, you've obviously got now translation next, so you've done your reflection and you're moving on to translation, and also remembering to go back at the start of your next lesson just to make sure that you've got it, recap it, go through it again. But really liked it.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah.